So in the episode where I ground the whole deck off, a lot of you guys said I should try these other grinding pads, and I listened.
We've got big plans for the small boat. We're learning as we go. So come along, we'll teach you stuff as we go building Windpuff.
So these are those aluminum oxide grinding pads that just screw on. I have the rubber backer as you guys suggested doing, and we're gonna test this guy out. So I got a 10 pack on Amazon for really cheap, and if it works well, that'll be awesome.
This is incredible. I started filming in time-lapse because I thought it's going to take a while because it's grinding. This thing is so incredibly fast. Thank you so much for telling me about it. Check it out. This is real speed. It just erases it away.
As with everything on a boat, and apparently while you're working on a boat, it's always a compromise. So that big metal grinding wheel that I was using, that ground the whole boat and some of the interior of the boat, and then started to get a little dull. So I think it might be on the duller side now. I did a little bit of grinding, super fast, like much faster than that grinding, the metal one was going, but I used 4, and I only did a very small portion of the interior. It did it really fast, but this guy, this metal one, it just kept on going. It never ended. So it's a trade-off. You can go really quick, but you're going to go through them, or you can go slower, like a little slower, but, you know, not have to change tools. Now, the disc that I was using, it's the aluminum oxide fiber discs LF from Norton. They work great, and you get a huge pack. This is 25 discs, and I paid nowhere near $40 for it. So once again, you have to look at how big is your project, how much time do you have for the project, and which, you know, you have to weigh it out. Do I want super fast, but gonna wear out, but cheap and quickly replaced? Or is this something that's gonna merit having a longer lasting tool that costs more at front, but then outlasts all the other ones? Now I gotta say, thank you guys so much for the suggestions for these tools. So 2 tools that I've been using a lot have been the DeWalt sander you guys told me about. It is amazing. I'm gonna link to it in the description down below. That way you guys can check it out, because it's the mix between a random orbital sander and a grinder, because it's just a sander. And my goodness, it sands amazing. And it just takes it off so fast, and it's got a vacuum port to it, so it's clean. And the vacuum business is the other guy I gotta thank you guys about. This guy is also amazing. All that dust goes in the bucket and not into the filter. So in the past, the issue that I had was I'd be vacuuming and the filter gets clogged, and then I lose vacuum. And I'm constantly cleaning the filter out because the filters are expensive. With this guy, I'll just go filling up a 5-gallon bucket of dust that I can easily then take to the dumpster and dispose. So it's amazing. It separates the dust out of the air, so there's no filter element involved. It's just using vortices. So thank you for telling me about that guy as well. I'll also link to that one. This is the dust stopper. I got both of these things on Amazon. We're stripping it down to the bare fiberglass, and if you notice, there's a band cut here, and that's because we're putting a bulwark and a ring frame through the, not a bulwark, a bulkhead and a ring frame through this area. That's going to give us a standing shower and head, a galley, and a quarter berth. That's a lot for the small boat. Oh, and a freezer. A freezer. That's going to be really nice. Now, where does all this stuff come from? Well, we have to make it, and then we have to get it into the boat, which is why we're not doing the hard dodger yet. That way we have a nice big access hole to get stuff into the boat through. So we have the transom extension finished for now. We have it put on, it's well tabbed, it's well secured to the boat,
and it has a deck that we can now walk on. Now it's time to turn our attentions inward. We're going to be installing the bulkhead that's going to be dividing the head from the galley. Now, a couple key things here. The galley is going to be set further forward, closer to midship. That way there's less motion, and also less sun beating on everything. So you don't have the risk of waves coming in and splashing on your on everything that's cooking. Nothing like over-salted food when you're tired and hungry. So we're going to be getting this bulkhead put in, that we will also have a stand-up, closed-off, dedicated shower and head. Something Allberg 30s do not have. They have a tiny toilet space, and that's it. You shower in the cockpit. But since we're building this to be a family cruiser, you know, we're going to want to shower with a closed door. On the interior of the boat, I have it ground away, and I've washed everything down with acetone to get all the dust and every little bit of residue off. So this is now ready to receive the epoxy from the bulkhead. You guys have frequently heard me talk about how polyester is so much easier to work with than epoxy. And what does that even mean? Well, in the simplest forms, polyester changes color as it goes. It starts off blue, then it turns green, then when it's gelling, it goes kind of like an amber color, and then it sets. So you know it's coming, and then you can control how fast does it set by how much of catalyst you put in. So if you need it to set quicker, you put a whole bunch of catalyst. If you need it to set slower, you know, do 1% instead of the 2%. You have so much more control to perfectly tailor how much working time are you going to have, and that lets you then use huge volumes. So you spend less time mixing and more time working, because you have a huge bucket of the stuff and you just work. When you're out, you go mix up another huge bucket. And then when you come back to do the next coat, you can tell looking at the cloth, is it still wet? Is it gelling? Like, has it set all the way? It's so user-friendly in that sense. Now, that's for the outside. The inside, for this bulkhead, and for the entire construction of the interior of the boat, I'm going to be using epoxy. Now, epoxy starts off clear, is clear, and cures clear. So there is no color-changing warning that tells you, hey, work faster, it's kicking. So it's purely based on, as you're working with it, it's going to go. Now, with epoxy, you have some control on how quickly it sets, and that is made at the time of mixing it. You can either use slow hardener, medium hardener, or fast hardener. I don't even have fast hardener on the boat because I'm working with such large projects. I don't want it kicking any quicker than it has to. So I have slow and medium depending on how much and how big the thing is that I'm doing. So we have the first bit in. That's going to just glue this board to the hull. That's all it's doing. It's not strong, it's not filleted, none of that. And with that, the bulkhead is complete. So it's in, it's tabbed, and it's curing. Now, the important thing with the filleting is you want to make sure that when you rub your hand across, it's a nice smooth transition. This whole section here, I'm going to be reinforcing with bulkhead to ring frame back to bulkhead. And that'll just tie it all together. And then when we go to do the water tank in the bottom under the cabin sole, trust me, it's going to connect through again with the floor. So we're going to be creating a full bulkhead, sort of. We're going to be creating a bulkhead here instead of here. That's pretty much what we're going to be doing there. Here goes one side of the freezer. Here goes the other side of the freezer. Then we're going to have a quarter berth and then another bunk over here.
Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next Rigging Doctor episode. And if
you're interested in even more Rigging Doctor awesomeness, consider becoming a patron to see all of our extras. Can't wait to see you next time as you join us out here on the high seas.